Good morning, world. This is Curtis Bryant, your life coach and motivational friend, here with another video and message. We are going to do something a little bit different. I am going to be doing a sort of story time and just give you guys a little update on my life and what's been going on. And at the same time, I'm going to be on my laptop creating a mood board and a vision board for the month of June, right? We're a week away from June 2023, whenever you find this video. And I think it's always important to plan ahead. I think it's my Virgo moon that's really into the idea of possibilities and options and exploring those. And so again, since we have a week until June, why not plan and create a visual representation of what we want to feel like in the month of June. I'm a big advocate for vision boards and mood boards, and I think that they allow us to see ourselves in situations, in opportunities prior to them happening, right? We all know what it's like to deal with self-doubt and insecurity and anxiety, and some of us even depression, right? And I think when you have a visual representation of what you desire, your brain and your body also has to come into agreement with that. So yeah, so I'm going to be doing that, and then I'll share it. I'll share the vision board on my Instagram, which you can follow me at I am Curtis Bryant. That's IAMCURTIS, Bryant like Kobe, BRYANT. But yeah, that's if you want to see my vision board. But I'm here to talk and to share. And actually, we're going to be talking about me leaving my job without a backup plan. And I want to first say that I am big on words. I'm big on the use of words and the power of words. And so I haven't been saying I quit my job. I say that I've left my job. And I think that is because the word quitting has a very negative connotation with it. It has a very negative narrative. And I didn't leave my job because I had, hit a wall or reach a threshold. I actually do believe that I did have the capacity to continue if that is what I had chosen to do. But I decided, and I felt like God was also encouraging me to take this leap of faith. And I also want to say that this isn't my first leap of faith. Without a backup plan, I have taken many. If you know me personally, you are not surprised at all. But I just want to talk more about how I got there and, hopefully give some advice about how to show up for yourself in a season and in a time where you're taking a risk that most people don't understand. So let's start at the beginning. So I was in New York during the pandemic. I did some traveling, right, to the West Coast. I took an amazing road trip from Atlanta to Oakland. I was out there for a month. I was in LA for 2 weeks. And I just really got to see the world and experience the world in a way that I didn't think was possible. For someone like me, coming from where I come from, but also not having the financial means, right? I think we see so much information about budgeting and saving money, and those things are great, right? But there are also some amazing lifetime opportunities and adventures that are going to happen that are not going to match your bank account. And mine didn't. But God provided in the time that I was in the West Coast. And I had a wonderful time in the West Coast. I learned a lot about myself. And after that, after I felt like it was time to leave the West Coast, I, had a conversation with God and was like, okay, it feels like you're calling me back to the East Coast, but if I do go to the East Coast, I would love to, and I want to stay in Atlanta. I want to land in Atlanta. I don't want to go back to New York. New York is where I was born and raised, and I just feel like I've outgrown the city so much. I'm now 34, and there's just a certain life that I want to live, and there are certain things that I enjoy doing, and I love sunshine and nature, and I like being able to say good morning in the morning and like just there's a southern hospitality that I definitely want to continue and contribute to my life as I get older. And so, not to say that I'll never end up back in New York because that's home first. But anyway, wanted to come to Atlanta, and I did. And so when I got to Atlanta, I reached out to my community and, let them know that I was back, and because I had lived here before, and let them know that I was looking for a job, but I was also looking for a home. And just long story short, I started a job 3 days after landing back. And so I really got back into the swing of things. And so this was November of last year. And so as I was reflecting on what I wanted 2023 to be for me, I called it my year of stability, right? And so that for me looked like really having my stuff together. And with that, in this, capitalist world that we live in, for me, I was like, oh, if I want to be stable, I must have a job or a 9 to 5 or something that works like this, and I know when I get paid and all of these things, right? And so I had it. And I worked at this amazing place with amazing people. And of course, there were things that I would change and things I didn't like and enjoy, but I was having a good time. And I was able to meet some really amazing people. But as an artist, I think there's always just like when you're not creating for yourself and you're showing up big for other things, it is very difficult. You start getting this like artist itch, which I like to call it. You get this artist itch because your body and your mind is like, yo, what about us? What about the spirit? What about the things that we enjoy doing? And so, again, there were things at my job that I wanted to change and all those things. But at the end of the day, the reason why I left my job last month was because I was ready to show up big for the things I love, right? And so I decided to leave. And I also decided to leave without a backup plan. And I also decided to leave the job and trust my skills and creative talents. So I am a photographer, graphic designer, also do social media and creative direction. So I'm a man of many talents, right? And so if you're watching this and you're a person of many talents and you too are working at a 9 to 5 and you are finding it hard to show up for your things, this video is not to encourage you to leave your job, but this video is to encourage you to find a way to make more time for the things you love, right? I think that life is to be lived, right? And I think that's mad simple, right? But life is to be lived. And we are, put on this earth and provided with so many beautiful talents and skills that we are called to share. And sometimes I think we crave stability, my year of stability. We crave stability, we crave this just grounding nature so much so that we are willing to neglect the things we love and some of the most beautiful parts of us. And so, yeah, so I wanted to say that. So I decided to leave my job, right? And so for the last week of me working on a job, I knew that it was coming to an end, right? Like I knew that by the end of this week, by the end of that week, that I would be in charge of my life again. And so what I decided to do was I invested in myself. And so I took my last check, I saved some money, and what I ended up doing was I decided to buy myself a laptop. Because the laptop, this one right here, this is my resource. This is how I create the things that I create, right? And so I knew I needed it. And I knew that I needed to invest in myself. And it's so interesting how I had been working that job for a number of months, right? And I had the possibility. I was capable of purchasing a laptop very early on in my job and in my time back in Atlanta. But it wasn't until I was leaving my job that I was brave enough to invest in myself. And so that's a message I want to share with someone too who's watching and listening. Sometimes your biggest investment in yourself will come when you know you have to depend on yourself. Yeah. When you know that you are the answer, when you know that it's only you and God, when it's only you and God who can really get you to the next step, that is when you find yourself investing in yourself. And it was really strange. I was like, yo, I could have got this laptop a long time ago, especially at the affordable rate that I got it. But I was comfortable in the stability. I was comfortable in what was going on, that I wasn't afraid enough. And that's another thing. Sometimes you do have to be afraid. Sometimes you do have to be scared to go to the next level. And so it's been a couple of weeks now, basically a month now, since I left my job. And I have been so productive. I had one of my best friends bring my camera back from New York. Oh, well, he was in town, so I had him bring it to Atlanta with him. And I've been shooting and having photo shoots. I've also been doing some life coaching things with people. I'm also a life coach, which I say in my intro. But so I've been super productive. And what do I want to say about productivity on the other side? Someone watching this, you think that you're being productive, but you're actually just busy. And there's a big difference between the two. Productivity allows you to go to bed at night feeling accomplished. We all know what it's like to feel busy and be busy and still go to bed unsure of what we actually got done, right? And so that's another thing that I want to, share, and I hope that it encourages the person watching this, that your productivity should allow you to go to bed happy. It should allow you to go to bed smiling and be excited for the next day. Again, sometimes when we are busy, we are going to bed ready. We're going to bed like preparing for the next day, preparing to show up big again, preparing to do the same thing, but not being excited. We deserve to wake up excited. And again, this video is not about quitting your job like I did, but just know that wherever you are working and whatever you are making the time for, make sure that you are excited to be there. Make sure that, and if you are not excited at your job, make sure that you are using your job and using the resources of your job to be excited for the things that you are working on outside of your job. I said job way too many times, but you know what I mean. And also I just want to be clear, I also get afraid. I also get nervous. I also get worried. I'm also like, how is this going to happen for me? How is this going to work out for me? And I can tell you, in the last month, it's worked out. It's literally worked out. And one of the ways that I've tried to support, right? Because I'm not in charge of what happens, right? I think that's God's doing and God's plan. My job is just to be obedient and to follow through, right? And so what has been helping me is really just focusing on what can I do today? Like, what does today look like for me? Right? I think, again, going back to the busy analogy, busy has you sometimes thinking so far ahead, whereas being productive reminds you of the beauty of now, the beauty of today, the beauty of the meals that you had today, instead of worrying about what you're going to eat on Friday. And you know, that's a real thing. Sometimes I do get unsure about what I'm going to eat, how I'm going to pay a bill. And those feelings do show up. And then I have to remember that my job is not to worry about when or how it's going to get paid. My job is to be obedient into what I've been asked to do that, do it well, give it my all, and it has to work out. It has to work out. And so, yeah. I wish this was like a Q&A and panel thing, because I feel like this is the time where people would be asking questions. But if you find this video and you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I would love to answer them for you based on, you know, my experience. But also, I'm big on like discourse and conversation, right? And learning from one another. And so your question in the comments could definitely encourage, support, and inspire someone else to take a leap of faith, but also just to hear another perspective, really, right? That's all really it's about. I think I want to end the video here. I think I did what I came to do. And I just want to remind you that it's okay to be busy, but it's better to be productive. I also want you to know that you deserve the life you want to live. I also want you to know that everything's going to work out. And for the person who has also left their job, who has also decided to trust their skill sets and their talents, whatever they may be, and really go forward with God in their process, I just want you to know that God won't let you down, and your future is really bright. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Later.